Israeli forces stop inhuman massacre. We ask Netanyahu why it continued bombing Gaza and delayed ceasefire for hours even after the ceasefire talks done. Now with the advent of ceasefire, Israel should permanently stop killing people in Gaza and the West Bank. Extremist-minded Prime Minister of Israel Mr. Netanyahu, his right-wing extremist followers, political parties and governments in America, Britain and Europe, supporting, weaponizing and funding this illegitimate extremism of Israeli government should know that Jews may have origins in and around Jerusalem, but so do the Muslims and Christians have. Now tell us, is Muslims and Christians are fighting for land in and around Jerusalem? The answer is no. Then why single-headedly these extremists of Jew community are desperately burning and killing peace and people who already have been living in this region from thousands of years? Who have asked these extremist-minded Jews who have been scattered and living in and around the world, to enter Middle East and started to kill humanity? If Jews thinks that they also wanted to live in the place of their origin, then they would have settled there in peaceful, gracious and civilized way by harmoniously mingling and surviving with the other communities. Who has given these extremist Jews rights to bombard and kill the innocent poor childs, men and women by shamelessly nudely using power of money and weapons supplied by arms brokers sitting as ministers in US, Britain and Europe? People must understand that these arms brokers sitting as ministers in your governments to continuously make their brokerage commissioning will use your state money to fund Israel's weapons budget, and hence they have vested interests in killing and murdering innocent people of Gaza and Palestine. This statement may seem like a no-brainer, but unfortunately, it is a reality that has been ongoing for far too long. The ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine has resulted in countless lives lost and families shattered, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. As an assertive voice, it is imperative to speak up against such atrocities and demand immediate action. The brutal killings of innocent civilians, including women and children, must come to an end. It is time for Israel to take responsibility for its actions and put an end to the senseless bloodshed in Gaza and the West Bank. It is a well-known fact that the conflict between Israel and Palestine has been ongoing for decades. However, it does not justify nor excuse the inhumane treatment of the Palestinian people. The United Nations has condemned Israel's use of excessive force against unarmed civilians, calling it a violation of international law. The world has witnessed the heartbreaking images of children being killed, homes being destroyed, and entire families being displaced. It is a humanitarian crisis that cannot be ignored. The argument that Israel is merely defending itself against attacks from Palestinian militants is not valid. While there have been instances of violence against Israeli citizens, it does not justify the disproportionate use of force against an entire population. Countless innocent lives have been lost, and their blood cries out for justice. Moreover, the ongoing conflict has also resulted in severe economic and social consequences for the people of Gaza and the West Bank. The constant fear of airstrikes and the destruction of essential infrastructure have made it challenging to carry out daily activities, let alone build a stable economy. It is time for Israel to realize that peace and stability in the region cannot be achieved through violence. Some may argue that Israel has every right to protect its sovereignty and citizens. While this is true, it does not give them the right to violate the basic human rights of Palestinians. The killing of innocent civilians cannot be justified, no matter the circumstances. As an assertive voice, it is our responsibility to speak up against injustice and demand change. The international community must unite and pressure Israel to put an end to the killings in Gaza and the West Bank. The use of violence has not brought any resolution to the conflict. Instead, it has deepened the divide between the two nations. It is time for Israel to choose the path of peace and seek a diplomatic solution to the ongoing conflict. The world is watching, and the use of force against innocent civilians cannot go unchallenged. As human beings, we have a moral obligation to stand up against any form of oppression and demand justice for those who have been unjustly killed. In conclusion, Israel should permanently stop killing people in Gaza and the West Bank. The ongoing conflict has resulted in unimaginable suffering for the Palestinian people, and it is time for it to end. The world must come together and demand a peaceful resolution to this ongoing crisis. Let us be the voice that speaks up for those who have been silenced and demand justice for the innocent lives lost. Together, we can make a difference and bring an end to this cycle of violence. People must understand that this arms brokers sitting as ministers in your governments to continuously make their brokerage commissioning will use your state money to fund Israel's weapons budget, and hence they have vested interests in killing and murdering innocent people of Gaza and Palestine. Our thoughtful viewer, you also let us know what's your views on this issues of mass killings of innocent people by Israeli extremists forces. Please comment. Rauf Al-Nayan, volunteer, reporter, Middle East, Voice of the People International. Please note, visit VOPGLOBAL.org and log in and subscribe and raise your voice as a volunteer, reporter and subscribers, and download your volunteer press card available on our website. We will share your written views and news on our digital media platforms and keep assured your raised voice and views will be available on our search results as news. So join our association and make your views news. Thanks. Please like, subscribe, share.